You know,
Have we talked about this before?
we picked on parts of it, different things that
We have uploaded 100 videos. I don't know,
100?
100.
Damn.
All right.
So anyway, what are we talking about?
Well, interestingly enough, yesterday in our Beyond the Bling live Q&A, right, one
Mhm.
of the participants did ask us about this, and we had already planned to talk about it because we get a lot of questions on different aspects of how we plan this move abroad,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And fellas, I guess I should say, when you're planning on moving abroad with your spouse, your significant other, your partner, whatever, whomever, the dog, whomever, at least, get that list of everything you need and at least do 50% of it. I ain't gonna lie, I didn't do it.
How much did you do, babe?
I don't know.
What do you think?
I'm not incriminating myself on this here channel. So before we get into it, maybe we need to introduce ourselves. How about that?
All right, they know who we are. Hey, y'all. My name's Halisi.
And I'm Rick. Welcome to our Black Utopia, and I'm not incriminating myself. Nope.
He already
Not gonna do it.
incriminated
Not gonna do
himself.
it.
On our channel, we talk about money, travel, and retiring abroad as we build generational wealth. So, what specifically are we going to talk about today?
We're going to talk about moving abroad, a step-by-step guide of moving abroad.
This is the ultimate guide.
The
ultimate guide to moving abroad.
Yes.
And for those of you who don't already have it, we do have a Move Abroad toolkit. So everything that we say here is laid out in an action guide that you can get in our Move Abroad toolkit. I'm going to go ahead and put that information on the screen if I can figure it out. There we go. All right. So the link is in the description below. But first, you know what? If you're new to our channel, then you may not know. What am I going to say?
May not know.
About seven years ago, we had a meeting with a financial advisor that was a wake-up call. We were getting close to retirement age,
Yes.
and we looked at our money, it looked crazy. But we found the FIRE movement, and about 4 years ago, right,
Yep.
We got our financial act together, and we went from negative 22,000 to over 1 million in net worth as of today. So if any of that money, travel, retiring abroad, getting your money straight sounds interesting to you, please hit the subscribe button.
Yes.
And hit that notification bell so that you know every single time we drop a new video. So we are going to give you 14 steps, I think, that we took.
It's a lot of steps.
It's a lot of steps.
So I'm going to have to read the notes. I ain't going to lie.
Yeah, we've got notes for y'all. We've got notes. So
you want me to start it off?
Yeah.
All right. So on the Move Abroad guide, the first thing you should do is before you even, move or anything like that, you should start to get rid of stuff. And I know that can be difficult because you accumulated all this stuff and you don't want to get rid of it because you paid good, hard-earned money for it. Okay, but you got to remember where you're moving to, probably, especially in Europe, they don't have the space for it. So if there's things that you wanted to give to your kids, grown kids, and you're moving away, give it to them now. Let them enjoy it. Even if they might not want it, they might surprise you and say, "I don't want that." But things that you truly, truly love that bring you joy. Dishes, jewelry is no problem. You can bring all the jewelry you want, I would think. But different things like that. If it brings you joy, bring it with you. You can find a way to pack it up and bring it with you. Just not.
Not everything.
Not
everything.
Boats and stuff like that.
Everything cannot bring you joy. So Rick had this, I think, Anheuser-Busch beer stein.
Oh, I had steins because we collected them. They gave us free Steins. Only Anheuser-Busch employees got those Steins.
He never used it. It was
No.
ugly.
No. They're Steins. They're collectibles.
It was ugly. It looked like something that somebody's German grandma would have in her knick-knack shelf to collect dust. And so we had all this crap hanging around the house.
Collectibles.
If it was a collectible, then he should have been able to sell it for a lot of money.
I could, but I wanted to get more value to it.
Oh. So where's it now?
It's in the shed, packed up.
It's in the shed where it should be. And then when we go back in 20 days or so, it's going to be in the trash.
No.
It's going to be in the trash. So one of the things, we have to detach our emotions from our things, right? And it's really hard.
It is.
Right?
It truly is.
I collected books and movies, but at least they were functional. They were used. They were read. They were watched. They weren't just sitting out in the garage collecting dust and spiders and all that crap. I'm just saying. So number one, start getting rid of your stuff right now. If you know you're going to move abroad, whether it is this year, next year, 2-3 years from now, I'm telling you, I used to declutter on a regular basis, and still there was so much stuff.
Yeah.
We still had so much stuff. It was ridiculous.
I mean, you have a life of stuff that you've been collecting.
Well, yeah. Well, but some people are really good. So before we go any further to step 2, let's see who is in the chat today. We have SL. Can't wait to get your notebooks out. Get your notebooks out. Hey, Renee.
Hey, Renee.
Boa tarde.
Boa tarde.
Auntie Trey, hey, Action VJ, thank you.
VJ, how you
Hit
doing?
that like button
yes.
if you like this subject matter and if you are already finding it helpful. Hey, Damien, we appreciate you being here. Hey, Greta, good to see you again.
Hey, Greta.
Call me second Greta. Hey, Ballerina from Central Texas. How's it going? Is it as hot as Hades there? What's going on? Hey, Alexandria, good to see you. Kay, good to see you. Mary, good to see you. We will be talking to you at the end of the month. Can't wait. I sent you some information.
Yes.
Check your inbox, baby.
Hey, Shirley.
Check your inbox. Hey, Shirley, good to see you. Hey, Pinky and High Vibe. We got Christy G is in the house. Dana's in the house. Nicole. Hey, is this a new name? Chalmers. This seems like a new name.
Chalmers
welcome.
Or Chalmers?
I don't know. She'll let us know.
I'm asking.
Hey, Meritim. Good to see you.
Good
hey,
to
Winnie.
See you.
Good to see you. Barbara. Michelle Harris. Hello. Hey, Greta.
Midlife money moves.
That's right. Time to get that side hustle started, girlfriend. Let's go. Hey, Barbara's in Connecticut. Hopefully you're not getting smoked out by that fire up in Canada.
That fire is insane. Did you see the report of all the South African firefighters?
Yeah, that was really cool.
Wasn't that great?
When they arrived. Yeah. Hey, Regina, good to see you. All right, everyone. The Flores family vlogs. Good to see you. Hello, Luxury Vagabond, Raquel. All right. Shara. There's a new name.
Shara J.
The Kaylina. Good to see you. Hey, Krishan. Good to see you. All right. Yeah. Always. With that in mind, also, Krishan, see, you being here always reminds me. We do have a move abroad, our move to Portugal summit coming up. Thank you, baby. Yes. And I'm going to if you want to get information as it comes out about it. I'm putting that in the comments right now, and I'll put it in again later. So there it is. We have a list that we will send ticket. There will be a ticket price, of course, and you all will get first dibs on the tickets, first dibs on the all access passes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So if your plan is to move to Portugal, this is going to be the ultimate Move to Portugal virtual summit. All right. So number 1, start getting rid of your stuff right now. Number 2.
Analyze your finances.
Yes. So what will become your income stream? Is it guaranteed like Social Security? And I know I don't want to hear in the comments Social Security is going away and blah 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 whoop de whoop. We're not planning for the zombie apocalypse, because if that happens, it will be the zombie apocalypse, because the United States will be falling down on its knees if they think about getting rid of it. So, is it a pension? Is it Social Security? Are you depending upon dividends? What is going to be your income stream? What is going to pay your bills in your new home?
Yeah. How much is it?
Yeah. How much are you going to need? How much do you have? And will it cover your new home and any of the responsibilities you have in your former country? What do we mean by that? So, for instance, I still pay for Obamacare in the United States, because when we travel, we need travel health insurance.
Mm-hmm.
Getting travel health insurance for the United States is very, very, very
next
expensive.
to impossible, actually. It just costs so much money.
It's ridiculously
Nobody wants
expensive.
to insure you.
No, because of our jacked up healthcare system.
It costs a lot of money.
So it makes more sense just to maintain my health insurance there, for pennies on the dollar, and so there's that. We also still have long-term health care for long-term care for Rick and my long-term care. Why? If we plan on staying here, because no one knows the future. And if by some crazy thing we have to go back to the United States for whatever reason, we will have our long-term care insurance. So we maintain that. And that's about it. I think that's it. Yeah. So insurance on the house and all of that, but obviously we're charging enough rent for that to be covered.
Right.
So step 1, get rid of your stuff. Step 2, analyze your finances and understand how much money you will be working with. Because that's going to, if you know how much money you're going to be working with, you're going to need that for step 3.
Yeah. Step 3 is research and choose your destination.
Okay, so what I wanted to do, I'm going to go in and pull up the Earth Awaits, and I want to show you guys. I meant to pull this up already. And I'm going to show you guys, because we got a lot of questions on how to search for things. And so we're going to share screen. Let me get rid of that and put this in a new window. I should have learned how to do this by now. Move tab to new window. Okay. Be patient, y'all. All right. So we're going to share screen.
There you go.
Boom. Boom. All right, so this is the Earth Awaits. This is the database that we use when we put together our best cities list. I know it sounds like we did all this research, and we do. We do, because we go through it pretty much with a fine-tooth comb. But what I wanted to show you is, once you understand how much money you're dealing with, and you've got your needs and wants list. So before I go into this, I want you to put together your list of wants and needs. Take the time to envision what you want your daily life to look like. So Rick and I did talk about this. We've talked about it extensively for years, right? It's changed and morphed over time, but we knew what we wanted to do. Are you willing to learn a new language?
Yeah.
What are the dynamics of cultures that you will put up with, that you won't put up with? Like, I'm not going to a place where women are second-class citizens and I got to cover my head. I'll visit. I'm more than happy to visit and be respectful of that culture, but I ain't trying to live there. I'm not. All right. So that's where you want to start as far as your research. What is your life going to look like? So you know your needs and wants. How much money are you dealing with? So right now, I'm going to go ahead and put this at $2,500 a month, which is not a lot of money, but could be more than one Social Security check. We're going to do a family size of 2, and we're going to do a 2-bedroom city center. We can say modest lifestyle. We're going to say crime rate of moderate or lower, and pollution of moderate or lower. And just to make it easy, I'm going to take out everything except for Europe, since that's where we're at. And then I'm going to go to advanced. All right, so this is where we get some of this other information about how safe it is, how well you may be accepted, etc. So freedom score, we're going to say partly free or better. I'm going to leave quality of life out. We're going to sort by budget, low to high. I'm not going to deal with primary language because I don't care. I'm going to put somewhat discriminatory to less because the United States is very discriminatory. I don't care what laws are on the books. We know how we treat it, right? And we're going to say splits on homosexuality, although in Europe that's probably not going to even be an issue. And then healthcare quality, we're going to put high or better. Now, I don't like it too cold. So I'm going to look at no colder than like 40 degrees at night. So
41's good.
41's fine.
That's
all
fine.
Right. And then as far as the heat, no warmer than like 98. Lisbon may not come up.
It might not.
We'll see. Download speed, I'll leave that alone. Most of European countries have great internet. So I'll accept these cookies for now. All right. And then we're going to do a search.
And it brings up all the different places.
Well, because of what I put in, it's only bringing up 4 places. All right. So for that budget with those filters. So let's take some of the filters out. I'm going to go back to advanced. And we are going to, where's advanced? I'm going to leave in partly free. I'm going to take this out. I'm going to say any. The discrimination I'm going to leave. And I'll make it get a little bit colder and a little bit hotter, but not much. Partially free. Haircut quality. I'm not going to mess with the quality of healthcare. And we get one more.
You get Adam, yeah.
We get one more. So I'm not going to mess with it anymore. But you see what comes up. We've got Croatia and we've got Spain. So it's probably because of the weather that more are not coming up. I'm going to take the weather out just to see if that is the reason. And hit search. Yep.
Yeah, you get more.
It's the weather. It's the weather. All right. So, so that gives you some idea of, we've got Italy now, we've got Latvia, a lot in Spain. I remember when Spain was more expensive than here. Lithuania, Slovakia, Czech, Italy, Poland, Croatia, etc. All right. So that is the Earth Awaits, and that's what you can use to do. And then I'm just going to pull something up so you can see a little bit more what you get here. So when you pull up the details, it gives you beautiful pictures. Is that place not beautiful or what? It gives you the population. It gives you quality of life, quality of healthcare, the crime level low, pollution low, how walkable it is. Traffic index, it tells you where the airports are.
Bandwidth,
purchasing power. So the purchasing power, all of this is in relationship to New York City. All right. So 57.28 means it's about 45% less expensive than New York City. And then if you look under freedom scores, it tells you how free it is. So it's saying it's politically free. It's got civil rights. Freedom of press is partly free. So there's a little bit of corruption, a little bit of monitoring of the press. It says low discrimination. In other words, they do a survey and they say the percentage of neighbors not wanting a neighbor of a different race, or the citizens, they survey the citizens and they say only 8% would say no to a neighbor of a different race. Women's rights are on there. LGBT rights are on there. It's kind of split. And then alcohol and cannabis, whether it is allowed or not. So at this point, weed is decriminalized, but it is not legal. Whoops. Okay. How do I make this go back? It's not going back down. I accidentally zoomed in, so I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing. You guys get the point. So that is the Earth Awaits. From that, you can do your research and start to create your list. You can also see the costs on there. Oh, I've got to go back so I can show you all the costs. Okay, I'm going to share screen again and show you where you can get the cost so you can start filling in that kind of information. All right. So we're going to pull up Split again. And if we go here, you can see a cost breakdown. There's housing, there's food, there's other. All right. And if you go to Numbeo, it'll even give you which foods they came up with and what is under other and the housing. But the housing, though, that's a pretty good price for a 2-bedroom city center, less than $1,100. So that's where you get those costs from. Now, the only thing that the Earth Await does not have is a cost for healthcare. And so you can get the quality of healthcare, but you're going to have to go into the Facebook groups and stuff like that.
And we always get asked that question. Well, what's the healthcare? What's the cost of healthcare and stuff like that? This is why we can't give you that answer.
Yeah. And oftentimes, with most of Western Europe anyway, they have universal healthcare. And that's probably another reason why the costs are not there, because in a lot of places it's free. It's included in your taxes, right? But for private health insurance, you can go into the Facebook groups that are for expats/immigrants and see what they're saying and make sure whatever you're reading is up to date and not something from 2 years ago, 3 years ago, etc. Take into consideration that, most health insurance agencies will take into account pre-existing, will take into account your age, etc. So take all of that into account when you're looking in these Facebook groups and seeing who's answering, whether they are kind of within your age group. If you have a pre-existing or not.
Yeah.
So you're going to put together, as you're doing this research, the other thing that you're going to do is put together a list of the visa requirements. Make notes of the dates and the turnaround times. Do they need a background check, etc.? Do some of these things expire? So some things you can start scanning and getting ready right now. Right now. Where are your marriage licenses? Where are your birth certificates? Every country does not necessarily require those, but you might as well go ahead and find them. Mm-hmm. If they were in the hope chest or in some file cabinet somewhere, go ahead and scan them and start your digital file now.
Have all that stuff ready.
Exactly. Because the other things that they're going to need may be date sensitive. You were going to say something.
I was going to say, as far as your fingerprints and FBI background stuff, they usually last for 90 days. Yeah. And then after that, you have to redo them. Some countries might not ask for that. Some will.
Mexico didn't.
Mexico did not ask for it. Portugal did.
Yeah.
So some ask for it, some don't, even though Portugal still checks through their own system.
Yeah, they check their system and they check,
they check Interpol and they check your FBI.
Exactly. And then your bank statements, your brokerage accounts, your retirement accounts, all of that kind of stuff. They're probably going to want the most recent statements. So doing that now is not going to make any sense, right? But everything that's evergreen, everything that's not date sensitive, you might as well start getting that stuff together right now. Create a list for each country that is on your potential list. Create a list of what their visa requirements are and start getting that stuff together.
And another important thing, it's very important, we'll probably say it throughout this whole thing, is keep checking up on stuff, because things change. Laws change. It's not the United States, and they can change their laws or anything that they want, any processes they want, anytime they want. So you got to, through the process, you got to constantly keep check on everything.
Yeah.
Don't do it and walk away and say, oh, yeah, when I checked that last year, it was fine.
Especially if you're a year or so out.
Yeah.
If you're doing something within that year, if you're moving within the year, oftentimes when they change the rules, they change on the calendar year.
Right.
Oftentimes, not always. So you're right. Number 4.
Number 4 is create a budget.
You should have 2 budgets. You should not plan on finding, You should not plan on finding employment in your new country unless you are moving because of a job. Unless you have figured out a way where your job can transfer you. I wouldn't, for most of the countries where it's easy to get a visa, it's easy to get a visa because they need an infusion of cash, which means they don't want you taking jobs away from the folks who live here, unless you're going to create a business, right? So plan on working 100% remotely, having passive income, or working for yourself. So that's number one. Number two, the first budget you're going to have is your move abroad budget. So you want to tell them what all of the caveats are for the move abroad budget?
Right here.
Yep. So all of the things that it's going to take to obtain your legal residency, all of the fees, y'all. When we went to get our green cards at the CEF, which stands for immigration something or other, but in Portuguese, we knew before then.
Yeah.
But we found out a month ahead of time that the cost was €170
a piece
per person. So €340, which is about nearly $400. That I don't know what I was thinking, because there was a fee in Mexico.
Yeah.
There was a fee in Mexico.
Yeah, there was.
So maybe I was thinking, it'll probably be under 100.
If anything, that's what you think, because I was thinking it wouldn't be that much.
Yeah.
I was shocked when she said
it was 170.
Oh, ouch. Okay.
Yeah. So plan accordingly, and that should be in your budget.
It's nice to have cash. If you can have cash, they don't usually ask for it. You can usually pay with a bank card. Well, we pay with a bank card. We didn't pay with a credit card because they didn't take the credit card.
Didn't they?
No, they took the bank card. Remember, you used your bank card because you can remember your code.
Oh, that's right.
Because they did not take
credit cards. Only they might have taken a Portuguese credit card, but they certainly weren't taking our American credit card. So we had to use our ATM, our debit card. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, thankfully we always keep money in that account,
yeah.
Way more than we need. So, all right, what else should they be thinking about for this budget?
So getting your new home comfortable.
All the things. So whether you're renting furnished or unfurnished, right? We rented furnished, but there were still other things that we needed, pots and pans, the little, waste baskets that you usually have in each room. I brought silverware and some things like that, but all of those utensils that you start to accumulate over time that makes cooking easier,
And when you say, because some people shipped furniture, not anybody that we know, but people have shipped furniture. Do you think American furniture might be a little bit bigger, or we just have more of it to fit into
in general
space?
In general, I think it's bigger. It's bulkier. It's bigger in general.
Yeah. Because these apartments and stuff, you can't bring a whole lot of clothes. And you can't bring a whole lot of furniture and fixings and stuff like that because it just won't fit.
Unless you're moving into a house in the suburbs.
In a house.
Right. Or a very new apartment. They do have built-in wardrobes. But I've yet to see a big walk-in closet like we're used to seeing, even in mid-range apartments in the United States where they have big walk-in closets. I have yet to see that. Right?
Yeah.
So think about that. I don't know what people are shipping. So
next thing will be health insurance.
Yes. How much is that going to cost? And we're not talking about the health insurance that you're going to have once you're in your new country. We're talking about travel health insurance. Price that out so you can put that into your move abroad budget. What else?
Right. So we just kind of hit on it a little bit. Moving your stuff, including extra luggage.
Yeah. So we spent almost $1,000 purchasing extra luggage. Because we didn't want to ship boxes that could fall apart, or we'd have to take.
Yeah, and they're not easy with them.
No, they just throw them.
Yeah, they're tossing. So you got to stop and look at it when they come to pick up your stuff from your house in the U.S. of A. They're not the kindest to it because they're trying to stuff a whole lot of stuff on a truck.
Right.
And usually it's one guy. The one guy came to our house.
Yeah, and they're going to put it on conveyor belts and things like that. So this is not like moving state to state where you can put fragile and all that and think that that's going to work.
And you know how you wrap it up all nice with the plastic?
Well, actually, there probably are moving services that could guarantee some of that.
Yeah, but guess what? And everything that we wrapped up, we wrap with the plastic wrap. Plastic wrap was torn off because customs go customs go through all that stuff, and they tear all that stuff off. They goes through it.
They do though. So all of our stuff had been, and we had vacuum packed our things so that more stuff would fit. The weight is still the weight, but we had vacuum packed it so more stuff would fit. They didn't undo that though.
No,
they probably just took it out and looked at it.
Yeah, they just took it out. Look at, because you can see what was in it. You can see it wasn't any contraband or anything. But they will take that outside plastic wrap off because they want to unzip it and look through it.
And when you get here, are you going to pay for someone to move your stuff into your place, to carry? Like, we don't have an elevator. Mm-hmm. So we could have hired folks to carry those bags up for us, but it was just 7 bags.
We hired me. I carried them up 4 flights. 3rd floor, 4 flights. Oh, that ain't right. You should show. I was like dying.
All right. So, moving men. What else?
Okay. You said moving men?
Yep. I talked about that.
Okay. So, deposits on accommodations.
You want to elaborate?
Well, you got to make sure you have all the money for any deposits that you're going to have to come up with, because you're going to need deposits probably for your utilities. You're going to need deposits for
your apartment.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. First and last, all of that stuff. If you're not buying, and we tell you, don't buy unless you know the country. You've been going there for years and years and years and years. You know it, you understand it, you know the laws. You've hired someone, then maybe you might want to buy. But if you're going to rent, like here in Portugal, they would see Americans and Canadians coming.
Oh yeah.
They were asking for 1 year worth of rent in advance.
Yeah.
1 year's worth of rent in advance. That's against the law here. But who knew?
But hey, if nobody knows and you ain't really complaining, you don't even know who to complain to. And then you got the language barrier. So, and any contract is written up, when it goes to court, they don't care if you wrote it in English, because English don't count.
No.
If it's not written in Portuguese, it don't count.
It does not count. It does not count. So, so take into consideration, if you're going to get an immigration person to help you. We did, and thankfully we hired someone who has attorneys on staff. They were able to look at our contract, and they found that the English did not always match the Portuguese. Now, we have a lovely landlord. We know it wasn't done on purpose. His little attention to detail is not as good as mine is, I'll just say politely, but definitely not nefarious. So, but it's got to match, right? And so I have to know that what I understand to be in the contract, what Rick understands to be in the contract, is what it says in Portuguese. And so there were costs for that. Add that in.
Yeah, you have to.
Another thing that we forgot about, ground transportation.
Transportation, period.
So we could have taken the train and lugged our bags up the hill from the metro stop.
Yeah, because we can catch a metro to the airport.
And it lets you off right where baggage claim is. But we did an Uber. And so what are the costs of that? If you've got a ton of stuff, are you going to hire, a car, a van, or something to come pick you up with all of your stuff and deposit you?
Because they'll do it.
They will do it.
There are people out here, services that will do it. Drive for miles.
Add that into your budget.
Yeah, definitely.
So fees for immigration specialists, Other kinds of insurance, if you want to purchase insurance on your stuff, we did that. We insured all of our bags up to a certain amount. Add those costs in. We used Send My Bags. That information is in the description below. There is a link. And then the second budget is going to be your lifestyle budget. All right. And so what are you going to need to maintain your lifestyle? What are the four big costs? What's housing, what's transportation, what's food, and what's healthcare? Those are the four major costs that we all have. So you want to write down what those four major costs are for every single city that you are considering, every country, every city that you're considering, and then work out your budget and make sure that your income is going to cover not only those four things, but there should be at least 20 to 30% left over for clothing, incidentals, for living life, for having fun, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
All right, let's see if you guys are asking questions so far. Let me go back and see where we're at.
Please put a Q in front of your question so we can just
quickly find it.
Yeah.
Hey, Arlene, been watching for a while. First comment. Yeah, less than 2 weeks out from moving to Querétaro.
All right.
Yay! From the Washington, D.C. area. Very good. We're so happy for you. Say hello to my girl, Angela and Lamar. Yes. All right. What else we got going on? Does Lisbon get up to 100 degrees? We've heard it does.
We've heard it does. I think it did last summer.
We've heard it does.
We had left and went to Mexico and it got hot. So we weren't here when it got hot.
Don't be talking smack. I moved to Denver because I ski. So at that time in my life, I really didn't mind the cold. And Denver's not like Chicago cold.
We don't have that wind like Chicago has.
It's not Chicago, and we don't have the humidity. So it's not like Chicago cold. It's not like New York City cold or Washington, D.C. cold. Like when we went to the inauguration back in 2012,
oh my God,
it was like, bone chilling cold. It's like that if you have to stand on the metro platform above the freeway at 6 o'clock in the morning. Then you feel that kind of cold. But otherwise, it really isn't that cold. So, hey, Melanie, good to see you in the chat. Yeah, at night, like in the wintertime. Because it didn't really get colder than like 40 degrees here in the winter, did it?
No.
Was it maybe in the middle of the night?
It just got, it was moist. It was wet.
Yeah.
Because it was raining.
Rain, yeah. But it doesn't really like.
No, not.
Maybe at 2 o'clock in the morning or something like that. Maybe it got down to 38, maybe. Yeah, scan those receipts. Okay. You don't move to Portugal to look for employment. Nah, baby. No.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
No. Halician Rick, Julian Calvin Stubbins, new subscribers and first-time visitors to your sessions. Yay! Welcome.
All right,
Welcome. Our stuff is bigger. Yeah, I know it is, right? Okay, I'm still looking for questions here, so I'm going to move a little bit faster.
What did Auntie Trey say? I only need one duffel bag.
Nuh-uh.
And I'm good.
I wish. Like, I really did try, but it's amazing how fast 65 pounds adds up. It really is.
You probably need two.
Okay, so you shipped a pallet. We shipped bags. And I was just, I don't know. I have some special china that has an African design on it that I really want with me. So I'm going to have to figure out something for that. See? So Krishan says one place that she looked at wanted 6 months upfront. Was that 6 months plus a security deposit, Krishan? What we talking about here? What is the legal max of upfront rent? That's a good question, Alexandria. But a year ain't it. Is
Mm-mm.
not a year. That's for doggone sure. But that is a good question. And I will ask our person, and we will have that for the Move to Portugal Summit. Information is in the chat. Max rent. So what we paid, and this is just for Portugal, every country, every city is different. We paid 2 months, which will cover our last 2 months once we give notice. And then we had the equivalent of 2 months for security deposit, especially because it's 100% furnished. I mean, we've got 2 TVs in the apartment. It's furnished.
Mm-hmm.
So not just with a couch and a table and some chairs.
I got my 70-inch TV. Well, I borrowed theirs since it's.
Is that 70-inch?
That's a 70-inch TV.
Wow.
UHD. It looks like video.
I know, it's pretty.
And I hardly watch it.
We hardly watch it, but it's so much nicer than what we had in the States.
It's real nice.
Yeah. So I feel totally blessed. I really do. Can you talk about bank funding? So I saw this, Paula, just by accident, but if you have a comment that you want me to post or you have a question, please put a Q in front of it. Renee puts a red question mark. Can you talk about bank funding requirements that need to be approved? So if you want to watch, if you're talking about Portugal, we did do a video on watch this before you buy property. I think that's what it's called. And we had 2 sets of people on there. Tuan was one who tried to buy a place and is still trying to buy a place. And then we had a couple on who were successful in buying a place. And both sets of people were doing it with bank financing here in Portugal. So for the most part, you have to show that you've got the money and that you've got the money coming in to be able to support paying that rent, even if you plan to rent it out.
Yeah, and it's not about credit here. They don't.
Yes, they do.
Credit.
Yeah, they ran Tuana's credit score.
They did?
They did.
Because I was reading it wasn't about credit.
They ran her credit. So I don't know how much weight they put on it, but they ran her credit. So maybe that's because she works for herself. I don't know.
Maybe.
She owns her own business. I don't know. But she has payroll service, so she gets paycheck. I don't know. But so watch that video. For your self-appointment, did you still have to show 1 year of Portuguese salary in the bank? No. And so there's 2 ways to do it for Portugal. You either have to show money coming in, which we do because we're living off of RIC's Social Security, or you have to have the equivalent of that in the bank. So they didn't look at bank statements. They looked at the lease just to verify the address where they're going to send the cards.
Yeah. I mean, I had everything that they needed, but she bypassed all that stuff.
She was like, I don't need that. I don't need that. I don't need that. I don't need that.
She said, give me your money.
Yeah. Now, my person looked through all of it, scanned all of it. The bank statements from the United States, I think they just did just the bank, not the retirement accounts, not the brokerage accounts. I had it just in case. And she definitely did our Portuguese account. Did the lady even look at the Portuguese account? Your lady? No. Girl, I don't know. But anyway, so no. But our immigration person said to have it just in case.
Yeah, you want to have it.
Yeah, high vibe. Yes. No worries, Paula. I got you. Okay. Is the bank deposit the same as the Portuguese yearly salary euro for the D7 visa?
I don't think it is.
So what? Go ahead.
What did they want us to have in there? 5,000.
So she just wanted us to have at least $5,000 or euro in our Portuguese bank account, which is about 3 months living expenses.
Yeah, and like she said, if they even look at it, they didn't look at it on me.
But I would have it because the moment you don't have it is when they're going to ask for it.
That's when they ask for it.
Oh, yay! You're staying in their
Cool.
Airbnb. Very cool. I have to let them know. Yes. Would you suggest expats on a fixed income move to a European country since the euro is stronger than the USD? It depends. Yes, it's stronger than the USD, and it has gotten to the point where you could lose 20% of your money in the exchange rate. Right now, it's at like 6 or 7%. But we're here, and we're here because it is less expensive than living in the
Right.
United States. Is it less expensive than living in Mexico? Querétaro? No. Is it less expensive than Mexico City? Maybe. We pay less rent than Rashida pays, so maybe. And the peso is doing better,
It's doing better.
or the dollar's doing worse. I don't know. Whatever it is, that is not going in our favor either. So I think, the thing to do to when you're thinking about the conversion rate and putting this budget together that we're talking about, your living budget, is that I would look over the last 10 years to see historically what it has done, what is the worst it has done, and what is the best it has done, right? And then what is the average? Because unless there's some major political upheaval, it's probably not going to vary much more extreme than the worst that you've seen in the last 10 years and the best that you've seen in the last 10 years. This is not the case if it is a newer democracy. I don't know what to tell you about that. But for the euro specifically, that's what I would do. I would plan for worst case scenario. So I would pick a place where if I had 20% less money or less buying power, I could still live the life that I want to live. That's what I would do. And then everything else is gravy. Did your immigration specialist also help with contacts on rent, housing, or should I just budget for both separately? And yes, received email. Yay! So we used Rossini, as y'all know.
Contracts. Did they help us with contracts? They didn't help us with the contracts. They looked over a contract.
I read contacts. It's contracts. You're right. So I'll answer both questions. So contacts. You need some more medicine. Don't be talking that smack. So contacts. We used Rossini. We did not think so. Our immigration specialist did offer apartment services and did help with the contracts because, yes, they did have attorneys on staff. Was it included in the price? No, it wasn't. But it was very affordable. And I think at the end of the day, we paid somewhere between 50 and 65 euro, under 100 euro for them to review the contracts for us at the time.
But they didn't write them. They just reviewed them for us.
They did not write them. They reviewed them. They offered suggestions. They told us what was missing, what was potentially inappropriate, et cetera, et cetera. So, but yeah, so it could have been one price, but the contracts themselves, and the person that we use has a premium service and a baseline service. We just got the baseline service. The premium service might include the contracts. So yeah. Mama Bear, new name.
Yeah.
Welcome. Is Lisbon a safe place to raise a preteen? What's there for them to do? Grateful for any help. Mama Bear.
There's a lot for them to do.
Portugal is a family-oriented place. And I think maybe it's the Catholicism, because Mexico to me is a family-oriented place as well. So we did do, we've done several videos with families, but there's two in particular. One, from Chicago to Lisbon. They moved their tween son. And then the other was, I got my son out of the USA. She moved her teen son here. So we've got two sons who are here that have been on the program. Actually, they both pop in.
And I saw them on here tonight. They're here.
Crystal?
No.
Or Mel and T.
Mel and T.
Yeah.
Mel and T are on tonight.
Yeah, so. They definitely are. So if you're still on, if you want to put some information about how your son has adjusted and how he likes it, Portugal is the 6th safest country in the world. And Lisbon, Lisbon is probably not as safe as living in the middle of the country. It is a major city. but we see women walking around
Oh, yeah.
and old.
Did you see the lady last night when we were walking home? The older lady when we were walking down the main street.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, she was by herself.
By herself.
She wasn't looking nervous with her purse.
And we were walking around at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night when we were coming back from those festivals. So it is very safe. It is very safe. Are there pickpockets? Yes. Do things happen? Yes. Do you have to be cautious and not go down a dark alley by yourself? Yes.
Yeah, I mean, use common sense.
But by and large, it is very, very safe. And so we don't have kids, but I do know that this is a kid-oriented place. And so if anybody is in the comments and wants to add to that, but definitely watch those other videos. Pinky, any idea what the rates for attorneys are? I've had a consult with one and quoted an hourly rate of $150 per hour, but I don't know if that's about right or if it's high. It sounds a bit high.
It does to me too, but
it sounds a bit high. And what I would do, like, I don't know what you're using an attorney for, but I would want a set price. I wouldn't want an hourly rate unless all they're going to do is review a contract. But that does sound high. And I'm trying to remember because the one that we did with Twana and them, they both used the same attorney. And I know it was a good rate.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm wondering if they say in there what the rate was, but I will ask them, attorney rate. I will ask them and put it in the comments when I get the answer. So Pinky, check back. And then if any of our Portuguese subscribers are in the chat, if you can help us out with that, because we, for the review of ours, I know it was no more than €100 to review our contracts. And they reviewed 2 contracts, and the one that we ended up going with, they reviewed it twice. So under 100. New subscribers, Angela Brown as Mama Bear just booked a one-on-one Zoom call. Yay! Right. We look forward to talking to you. Definitely. So y'all know if you have questions, we do have one-on-ones. That's awesome for Shar. Yeah, Shar bought a house.
Awesome.
Very happy for her. Very happy for her. Okay. Hey guys, my partner and I love your channel. Thank you. Random question. I've got $20,000 in debt, thinking of pulling from my stock portfolio for approximately $150,000 to pay it off. Wanted your opinion. I need more information, and let's try. I'm going to star this, and let's try to get back to this at the end so we can stay on topic. And when we get to the end, if I haven't answered you, remind me. How far out do you have to establish your Portuguese bank account? Do you pay taxes on that at the start date of your account? No. This is after-tax money. It's just like opening up a new American bank account, right?
Yeah.
You've already been taxed on the money. So, and we will not be technical tax residents of Portugal until we get that card. So until we get that card, and then we do the rest of the registration thing, we still are under Uncle Sam's thumb.
What's Paula saying?
Wow, the attorney told me we have to have a year's worth of income, so 10,000. For the CEF appointment, we did not, and we were told we did not. And we were told that chances are they weren't going to ask to see any of our stuff. And interestingly enough, my lady, she didn't really scrutinize what I gave her, all of the American stuff. She just looked at it and said, okay, and just scanned it all. She didn't say, okay, this checks out, I mean, she looked at it and said, oh, okay. I don't even know if she knew what the balances were, Paula. So yeah. When we applied for the visa, we had 3 months. We had 3 months.
I'd almost check with another attorney too.
Okay, so I'm going to stop there and we're going to keep going. So number 1, start getting rid of your stuff right now. Step 2, analyze your finances.
3, research and choose your destinations. 4, create a budget.
Right. Number 5, you're going to do scouting trips. Right?
Yeah, try to do more than 3 days or 7 days if you can. Try to do at least a month.
Why'd you slow down in talking?
I know people travel and they come through for a couple of days, and it's like, oh, I'm going to be in Lisbon for
4 days.
4 days, and then I'm out. And it's like, I'm on a scouting trip. It's like, you're not scouting anything.
That's really not enough time.
It's not.
If you are making a decision to uproot your life and spend all of this money and time and energy, I would hate for you to get here and say, on your 4-day vacation, it was like, ooh, this is pretty, castles, yay. And then you get here and you're like, okay, these people are moving so slow. This is going to drive me crazy. The way these people drive is going to drive me crazy. These hills are going to drive me crazy. These cobblestones are going to drive me crazy. This graffiti is going to drive me crazy.
Oh, the language is going to drive me crazy.
The language is going to drive me crazy. I can't get money out of the ATM machine.
I don't know if I can eat sardines and,
or an egg on everything. So, we made the decision within the first week, but we were here a month. I would at least do 3 weeks. If you can get 3 weeks vacation, get 3 weeks. A lot of times these jobs, look in your employee handbook, because they hire you and say you get 2 or 3 weeks vacation, but then they don't want to give it to you. Time to find a new job. If you're thinking about uprooting your life, then you really need to do a scouting trip that will be meaningful. Right. And let's just use Portugal, for example. If you didn't know that Lisbon was a place, or if you are not a cosmopolitan city person, then plan maybe, I could see 2 weeks here, 2 weeks there, 2 weeks here, 2 weeks there. This other couple that we knew actually spent 3 months here. They spent their whole visa time here, like a month in Lisbon, a month in Porto, a week here, a week there, maybe 2 weeks in the Algarve, like that. So you can really get a feel for the place.
Yeah.
On your scouting trip, we do have a scouting trip checklist. That information is in the description below. But you're going to make sure you get travel health insurance. You already said. Try not to stay less than a month.
Try not to, yeah. At least a month or 3 weeks, like you said.
Yeah.
If anything.
So don't just visit neighborhoods. If the city is not vibing with you, try other cities within that country, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's places right outside of Lisbon.
Yeah.
That
the suburbs
of Lisbon, you could probably find great neighborhoods and everything close to the water, just everything.
Not probably. You can.
You can.
Yeah.
And a lot less expensive than living in Lisbon.
Yeah. Don't vacation. Live there.
Experience the stores. Experience the little small mercados and get people see your face. We got to knowing the people around the corner all the time, and they got to start to speaking to us, just like here now. You get to knowing more people.
So go grocery shopping. Make sure you can find the stuff that you need. Check out to see if they've got your hair care products. Can you visit a dentist? Get your nails done. Get your hair cut. Get your hair done. What else?
Meet with an immigration or relocation specialist.
Right.
They're there. They're there. Their services are great. Some are just crazy expensive. So, and not necessarily the best that you're going to get. You don't have to, the more money you pay doesn't mean you're going to get the best of service.
No, because our person has a 100% success rate, and she charges under 1,000 for the baseline deal. So, this other place was going to charge us €6,000. 6,000. That's a used car. So also when you join the expat/immigrant Facebook groups, you're going to join those to find out about the health insurance, right? You're also going to plan in advance, y'all, to meet with people and ask them if they have locals that will, have coffee with you as well. So you can meet some people who may be English speaking, but Portuguese or Mexican or Colombian or French or wherever you're moving, right? Who can meet with you so you can get a flavor of what the local folks are like, ask them questions, etc.
Yeah.
What you should not do is show up the day of
and then put something out saying, I'm in town, y'all. Can we go meet for coffee or something? It's like, it's not that people don't want to do that. It's that they can't do it.
people have lives.
People have lives. People have things to do, and they'd love to meet you. We love to meet people that are in town and stuff like that. But if we got other things to do, we can't do it.
I don't do last minute. I'm just gonna be honest. I don't do last minute because if we were out all day yesterday. We walked all the way down to the river, walked around, walked all the way back because the trains were packed. So today we barely left the house. If someone would have said, "Can you meet today?" I'd been like, "I've already got my mindset that I'm not leaving this house. I'm not going outside." So they get upset. You see them in the Facebook group. Nobody answered me, and it's like, baby.
Yeah, you can't come here.
Baby. Yeah, plan that in advance.
Let us know in advance.
with anyone, just plan that in advance and get your calendar set so that you know when you're going to be scouting neighborhoods, when you're going to be potentially meeting with real estate agents to look at things, going to get your hair done. All that stuff should be planned out so that you can do the stuff that you would do as if you were living here.
Mm-hmm.
Doing a scouting trip is not like going on vacation. Yes, you can do some of the touristy stuff. We did. We went to Sintra, we went to Cascais, we went to the beach. We did some tourist stuff, but we tried to do it as much like a local as possible. So we got the Metro card, not the permanent one, but the temporary Metro card that you can swipe and top up and all of that stuff. So
yeah, and look into that stuff. Another thing too, if you're going wherever you're going, check and see if they got apps.
Yeah.
For transportation and for anything.
For things to do, et cetera, et cetera. Also, what are you going to do with your cell phone, your cell service? Are you going to get a SIM card here? What I suggest you don't do is pay that $10 a day for Verizon.
The Verizon price? Yeah.
That's crazy. That's just crazy. You can use it on Wi-Fi. If the people need to text you and stuff like that, you give them a window to call you or what have you and call people via Wi-Fi. Get people on WhatsApp and you can make those calls without using data. But I would get a SIM card because if you're here for a month at $10 a day, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money that's just wasted. Okay. So we're on your scouting trip. All right, let's see what people are saying. I think we talked about all of that, right? Look at your wants and needs list. Pull out your wants and needs list in the ready to retire. In the Move Abroad Toolkit, if you've already bought the Move Abroad Toolkit, I did some tweaks to it. You can go back in and re-download it, okay? Otherwise, for the folks who want to get it, that information is in the description below. But pull out your wants and needs list and talk to yourself, talk to your partner, whoever, and see.
That's probably the most important list that you'll have.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. Because it's easy to get emotionally caught up in the new place.
Oh, yeah.
Look, sweetheart,
it's pretty,
there's castles.
It's shiny.
There's castles.
Oh, yeah.
And look at the bridge and the water and the this and the that. And meanwhile, right, whatever. You just have to, make sure that you've got something that is objective.
Yeah.
And look at that list. No place is gonna be 100%. It's just not. It's not going to be 100%. But you want it to at least be 80%, right? 90%. Oh, yeah. So of your wants and your needs. Needs have to be pretty much 100%.
Right.
But the wants, 70, 80, 90% will probably do it. All right, let's see what you guys are saying. Calvin Stubbins, we're visiting scouting in August with plans of retirement in 2 to 3 years, staying in Lisbon. Yay. Have you found any areas in Portugal that you would consider purchasing property? Besides the Lisbon metro area, not yet. Yeah, so it depends. Like, our plan, Julie and Calvin, since you guys have told me your name, is to save up our money and go in with some people and buy a building of apartments. Not a huge one, but a building of like 8 units or less. That's our plan right now. So I still like, Rick had dreams of having like a bed and breakfast out there with some land and stuff, but I'm just not feeling buying a car. And if we live outside of the city, we're going to have to have a
that's the only
car.
thing. If you live outside the city, you're gonna have to have a
So
car.
that back to your wants and needs list. I do not want to need a car. So yeah.
I haven't totally given up on that though.
Yeah, I know. If you're thinking about Portugal, is there a way you can move up that date? And the reason why I say that is because we started looking 2 years ago. We missed 0% taxes. We missed it by putting it off. We didn't put it off. My dad got sick and we didn't get to do the scouting trip when we had planned to do the scouting trip. That's what happened. So what happened was, but in that time, the laws changed. And for passive income people, it was 0% taxes for 10 years, and now it's 10%. So what is it going to be 2 years from now? What is it going to be 3 years from now? Are they even going to still have a tax incentive to get people to move here? Are they even still going to have a D7 visa? Probably.
Yeah.
Probably, but what other hoops will they put? So when we first started looking, you did not need to have health insurance. You did not need to have a 1-year lease. You didn't have to have your NIF in advance, your tax ID number in advance, and you did not have to have a bank account in advance. You did need to have all of those things in place before you met with immigration to get your green card. Now, before you even apply, you have to be not paying rent on an apartment. Maybe you're lucky enough to get a contract and you don't have to start paying until you move. I don't know. I have yet to hear someone who got that kind of situation, but we were paying rent on an apartment here in Lisbon before we even applied. How much harder are they going to make it? And yes, that's hard and that's rough, but it's still much, much easier than moving to the United States, much, much easier than moving to the UK, much easier than moving to Switzerland. I paid 7 months up front. Was some of that included in your, can't wait to see when you come back, was part of that your security deposit? Or was that all upfront rent? When's the next meetup, family? After girlfriend, I'm trying to get through the one in June. I have not put anything else on the calendar because I'm going to tell you, I did 100% of the work for the meetup, of the organizing, of the landing page, of the advertisement, of the getting the places, of the finding the boats. All of that stuff was me, and that was work. And I don't like working. So we will do informal things. We will see if we'll do another formal meetup. I'm planning on doing my Portugal scouting trip in 2025. Porto looks lovely. How is, that's not how you pronounce it. Okay, I'm getting mixed up because I don't think that's spelled right.
Duomo Valley?
Yeah, but it's Douro Valley.
Douro Valley. Yeah.
Okay, as a place of residence. We haven't been, but I think Rashawn's been to the Douro Valley. So if you have, or whoever else is in the chat, let a sister know. Let a sister know. When you went to your VFS appointment in San Francisco, did you have to show a year of Portuguese salary, 9 to 10,000? Well, we had it, so we showed it, and some. We showed every single penny, and we had a lot more than that. I can't remember if it was required or not, baby, to be perfectly honest. I want to say no. I want to say that they just wanted to see 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses because we had income coming in. See, it all depends on how you're doing it. If you're doing passive income and you're getting a pension or something like that, you have to show that you're getting that pension. And then they want to see the pension going into the bank account. Okay. So the letter from the Social Security office, the letter from your pension agency, whether it's CalSTRS or whatever, some para thing, that letter plus money going into your bank account is oftentimes going to be a lot more important than money in the bank. So in Lisbon, our 13-year-old son goes to the grocery store, music school daily by himself, and to occasionally meet with friends for lunch by himself. We would never allow this in Chicago. That's right. That's right. That's right. Off topic. Are you going to the festivals tomorrow? Yes, we are. Yes, we are. All right. I don't know. And I would say yes. Mel and T, if you guys looked into this at all, if you could answer her, because I'm not sure. A lot of people here, especially that moved in the middle of the year, keep them in their online school through the United States. So I'm not sure if they regulate school here the same way they do in the United States. I'm not sure because there's so many offerings. So yeah, I'm not sure. All right. So getting back to our list, you're going to start getting rid of stuff. You're going to analyze your finances. You're going to research and choose your destinations. I showed you guys earlier. If you're just logging in, then you're going to have to watch the replay to see how we did our research.
You're going to create a budget?
You're going to create two budgets.
Two budgets.
First budget is your move abroad budget, what the money that you need just to do the move. And then you're going to create a budget for your daily life. Your
lifestyle budget.
Right? Exactly.
Then you're going to scout your chosen destination.
Right. Number 6.
Number 6 is revise budget based on real life data.
So once you get back from your scouting trips, relook at the budget that you have put together based upon research and see if that met out with what you found when you were there. Did you find apartments that you like at the number that you thought it was going to be? Were the groceries the same as what you saw in the database? Were your hair care products the same? Clothing, etc. The insurance, whatever you did, revise that budget accordingly with real life data. Number 7.
Choose a country.
Choose it. Look at your wants and needs list and objectively, and then with your heart. So once you have added up, what needs and wants were on there, then you've got the objective part out of the way. Then it's really on how does it make you feel?
Yeah, how does it make you feel? The city and the country.
Right?
How does it make you feel?
So how did Lisbon make you feel? Why did you say yes?
I felt comfortable. I didn't feel the need for rush. It was kind of laid back. I mean, there's things that drive me nuts still, but
what drives you nuts?
How they drive.
Yeah, and how they park.
And that just drives me crazy.
I don't know why he lets it drive him crazy. He ain't got no control over it.
I mean, it's no big deal. It's like,
in the big scheme of things.
You can't park right there, but they can park right there.
Because they're doing it.
But it's just that American thing that I just haven't gotten out of. Even my friend who was here, Ron, when he came to visit, and I was showing him pictures. Oh, we walk. I said, see how they park? And he used to be a state trooper. He said, yeah, I'd be having a field day with them.
Giving tickets.
But hey.
Yeah. So look at all of the wants and needs on your list completely. All right. And in the Move Abroad Toolkit, we've put extra wants and needs lists so that you can print them out, take them with you when you go to your scouting trips. Like, you know, we have residency in 2 countries. That is an option. If it's between, this country and that country, you may be doing 2 scouting trips. You're going to budget all of that in. You're going to take your wants and needs list with you and have and check them off accordingly.
Mhm.
Which of your needs were met, which of your wants were met.
And if you have a mind of what place you want to go, what country you want to go to, start learning language. There's so many YouTube channels out there with people that you can get free language lessons. Actually, then you got the paid services that you can get, lessons on the Zoom type lessons, the Prepleys and or
Yeah.
Preplies and in places like that you can go to.
Yeah. Watch the episode that we did
Yeah.
about learning a language as an adult. It wasn't just about Spanish, even though it was my Spanish tutor that was talking about it because she does teach adults. She gives a lot of helpful tips on what you can do to speed up that process and what you should do before you start taking formal lessons. So doing the Duolingo and stuff like that, because when we came here, serious y'all, we did not know how to say hello or thank you. I don't know what we were thinking. I was just trying to get my parents situated. That's what I was thinking. And he was like, Halisi got it.
No, not necessarily that. I just figured, well, you're talking about being immersed into a culture. You'll learn it.
Yeah. Well, but though we know people who've been here for 3, 4, 5 years and don't speak. Besides, I would like this from the menu. Yo quiero blah, blah, blah. Right?
Yeah.
Me gustaría in Spanish. And that's all they know how to say. So, number 7, choose a country. Number 8,
put the paperwork together and all the requirements that are going to be needed to.
Yeah. So you might be
visa.
required to have a funded bank account in the new country, health insurance, a long-term lease. We already said it's easiest to work with an immigration person. Don't forget to make sure that your will and your estate are in order.
Yes.
So do that before you leave, right? If not a requirement of the visa, create a plan to access your money. If you don't have to have a bank account, how are you going to move money? How are you going to access your money in your new home country? And how much is that going to cost you? That should be in your budget.
Because some countries you go to, you might not want to put all your money in their bank.
Exactly.
All banks aren't created equal.
Exactly. So everything that you need, start getting all of that paperwork together. Number 9, find your accommodations. Every country is not necessarily going to require you to get into a long-term lease. If they didn't require us to get into a long-term lease, I wouldn't have gotten into a long-term lease. But I'm glad that we did.
Yeah.
Because now that we're looking around and we see what the inventory is and we realize how great our landlord is, the location that we have, what we got for the money that we pay, I'm glad we're locked in. I'm just going to put it that way, right? Because we've heard some horror stories of people getting their rent raised like 50%, 100%, doubling their rent and all other kind of crazy nonsense.
Yeah.
And I'm not about that life. But if you can, so that's Lisbon though. Had we gone to Mexico, I definitely would have done an Airbnb for a while until we found a place. Right.
But then you got to find a place because I was watching Mr. Ross.
Yeah.
And he was making mention of people because people will get on and say, well, when will I see the pricing difference and stuff like that? And a lot of people are still living in Airbnbs and stuff like that, paying higher prices. He says, well, you need to go and get you a place to live and lock it in.
Yeah.
And, quit eating at all those big high fancy restaurants because you're used to going to places. Here it's not so much. But, in Mexico, you got a lot of American brand restaurants that we're used to. So you'll flock to those. And I saw the comments you made that we eat $1 tacos. tacos.
Yeah, when we were in Mexico.
And it was good.
We weren't trying to go to
So,
TGI
yeah,
Fridays or Senor Frogs or any of those other places that have those expensive prices. But yeah, because Airbnb takes about 50%. So Airbnb prices are not similar to your rent prices, right? We paid a lot more last year to stay in Airbnb than we pay for our long-term lease. Okay.
So yeah, you have to get settled in.
So you definitely want to settle in. But if you can get into an Airbnb for the first month while you look and really get a feel for other neighborhoods, et cetera, and that's an option to you, go ahead and do it. But whatever it is, you got to get your accommodations together. Step number 10.
Apply for your visa.
Yes. Make note of the turnaround times and plan accordingly. Our visa required that we have purchased an airline ticket in advance. Had we purchased an airline ticket, we would have had to cancel it, repurchase it, or change the date, however that works, and pay those fees. So thankfully, our immigration person did that for us, and she probably canceled it right after she booked it because it was scheduled for October 15th. Well, we didn't get our answer until October 25th. So how does that work?
Right.
And I don't know. I think it's unfair because it's not like you can reschedule a ticket and have no financial consequences. But build all of those eventualities into your budget, especially if Portugal is your place. So make note of current turnaround times and when you must enter the country and plan accordingly. So, for instance, for Mexico, you have 6 months to get into country to get your green card. For Portugal, you have 4 months to get in country and get your green card. So, plan accordingly and make sure that you have, hopefully by now, you've decluttered your house, you've given away all your stuff, and now it's just about packing up stuff.
Because you don't want to have to start all over again.
Oh, no.
Start the process all over because you missed the deadline.
Because you could not get in country in time.
You don't want to do that.
No. So, step number 11.
Notify necessary folks. Yeah.
So, how did it feel when you gave notice at work, sweetheart?
It felt good. I didn't care. I was stupid.
Did they say anything like, well, why? What are you doing? Or they're like, oh, okay, see ya.
No, I mean, people are always curious. So what are you going to be doing? And Tom, who was actually my supervisor, he was like, well, my family's from Portugal.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Not Tom Povich.
The other Tom.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to tell you, when I gave notice, I think my boss thought that I was just going to work remotely. She's like, okay, let's see. Well, what time zone are they on? Well, I think we could make that work. I'm like, baby, you don't understand. I'm finished. I'm through. I'm not working anymore. And the reason that we could do that is because we got out of debt and we found a place that we could live off of one Social Security check. Plus, we had saved 2 years living expenses. So that's why we were able to do that without me being Social Security age.
Mm-hmm.
So notify necessary folks. That might include family and
friends too.
Right? Because, maybe you haven't told some people because all they're going to do is be negative Nellies.
Yeah. Well, hey.
We talked about getting rid of toxic people out of your life. You can love them from afar.
And, you can always leave your address, and that ain't hurt nothing.
Yeah, definitely. So, number 10, apply for your visa. Number 11, notify necessary folks. Number 12, pack your stuff, baby. Pack your stuff. It's time to go.
Get them ready for shipping.
That was a good feeling when I just started, like all of the linens and things that I planned on taking, get that packed up, get that put out in the garage or out in the shed or whatever, put to the side. Next thing, which shoes am I taking? That was a really, really good feeling. Handle odds and ends. You got to sell your car. You got to get your travel insurance. If you did not have to get it for your visa, you want to get that travel insurance, especially if there's going to be a gap in between when your private health insurance in your new home country takes effect. Maybe you're going to be going to some places before you get in country, right? who knows, make a little vacation out of it. So you want to have your travel health insurance. Are you keeping your US cell phone number? How is that going to work? What plan are you going to have? So for us, we used Google Fi. That information is in the description below. And so we kept our US phone numbers through Google Fi. I think we had the $10 plan, $10 per month, something like that. And I think that we have to pay for data after that, but we only use it on Wi-Fi.
Right.
Because we've got a great plan here that is a fraction of the cost of the typical US plan. It's like a Cricket. It's cheaper than Cricket. It's cheaper than Cricket. We pay less for full service cell phone here than we would pay for Cricket at home.
That's
or in
true.
the States. That's not our home anymore. In the States. All right. Google Voice is also an option.
Yeah.
Google Voice is an option. So all those little odds and ends. And in our toolkit, there is a checklist. Also, there's a scouting trip checklist that will have some more of that information. So you can think of all of those little things that you have to do. Start turning off subscriptions, turning off the auto renewal, and to all of that stuff.
Yeah, make sure you do that because that's easy to forget.
Yeah, it really is.
You know, especially if it's only
$14.99
there. $5-6, and you just forget about it because you just used.
But that stuff adds up.
You don't need it anymore, so.
Yeah, that stuff adds up. And then lastly, the last one.
14, community and culture.
Frequent the same shops to get to know your neighbors. All right. Here in Portugal, a lot of the stores are owned by people who live in the neighborhood. So the hamburger shop, the place where I get my sundresses, the place where I got my nails done, the tiendas, the fruitarias, those folks live in and around here, and get to know them. It will start to lessen that honeymoon feeling. The honeymoon feeling will still be there, but it will start feeling more like home and less like you are on vacation, although we still feel like we're kind of on vacation.
Yeah, but we walk in, just like the place we had dinner yesterday, they see our faces. They know us. Our faces. They know us.
Yeah.
And because I was telling a lady, she asked me if I needed a bag, and I was like, no, we just live. And she's like, I know.
I know you just live down
the street. I know.
Yep. So yeah, and it feels good. It feels good. The place where we buy our fruit, the place across the way where we get our coffee and stuff like that, go on outside. The trust level here is incredible because
you got your nails done.
Oh yeah. When I got my nails done, I didn't realize she doesn't take cards yet. It's a new shop. She doesn't have her little machine set up, but she has noticed me. There's not a lot of black faces walking down this street, and it's like a cul-de-sac. So, and I say, boa tarde. I realized that she was from Brazil because she says bom dia. And I was like, oh, okay. So we had a little conversation about that. So I finally went in and got my nails done, and I did not have enough cash. I didn't have any cash, actually. And she's like, pay me tomorrow. I said, okay. I said, I just live next door. She's like, I know. I paid her the same day, but because I will forget and then feel bad. But yeah, it just feels good. Meet with other immigrants and ask them to invite their local friends. We said that before, but you want to get to know people who are from your home country. And I say, when you're on your scouting trip, talk to people who live there, even if they are immigrants. But if they're immigrants that speak the language, you want to know and understand the politics of the country that you're moving to. You don't want to get out of the frying pan and into the fire. All right. Like right now, I still wouldn't move to Brazil. I wouldn't. I'm sorry. Love you, Yar Bros. We ain't moving to Brazil. I've talked to the Brazilians here. There are a ton of Brazilians here. I've talked to the Brazilian who cuts my hair, and then the lady who did my nails. And I always ask them, especially her, because she just moved here. She's moved here later than we've moved here, right? So I think January is what she said. And then the person who cuts my hair, he's been living here for 6 years, but his, part of his family is still in Brazil.
Rossini's from Brazil.
Rossini's from Brazil, but he's been here almost 9 years. But I'm sure part of his family is still in Brazil. And so what are the politics that are going on? What are the politics here, right? But, listening to them and hearing the politics that are going on in Brazil and what they're doing. I asked about the racism there and things like that. These are things that we need to know. So when you're on your scouting trip and you're meeting with folks from the Facebook group, ask them to bring people who have either been living here for a long time, living wherever you're going for a long time, or people who are born and raised there. It's really, really
they'll
important.
share information with you.
Yeah. And then go to local events, figure out what the system is. So here we told you guys there is a parish freguesia system. It's a cross between city council and a neighborhood association. They are elected. They do have a budget, et cetera, et cetera. They have a newsletter that is digital and in print. I registered for that. I get the newsletter to figure out what's going on. And we realized we could have missed it. We realized that from Friday through tomorrow, there's a street festival with live concerts and everything a couple of blocks down.
Right down the street.
Right down the street. And I mean, it is crowded. And then down the street from that in Graça, there's another street festival going on. And then down the hill in Alfama, there is another street festival going on. So we walked through all of that yesterday, one festival after another. But once you understand what the system is and what the newsletters that they put out, whether it's from the city, from the neighborhood association or whatever, get on those lists, go to the local events, listen to, enjoy the music, the food. And it felt so good to be around everything from babies to grandmas in the middle of the street. Dancing, singing the songs that we didn't know, doing their version of line dancing, doing the Macarena.
Soul Train.
Doing the Macarena, drinking beer, drinking wine. I tried to show you guys in the live. If you're on our Instagram, then you saw it. We were going live on Instagram. That's at Our Black Utopia on Instagram. And you could get a thing of beer for €2.50. That's like $2.75 for a beer. That's like liquor store prices. That certainly isn't street festival prices. Usually it's going to be $5 or $6, $7.
Beer, wines, food.
Wine. They have little shots of cherry liqueur in chocolate in little chocolate cups.
That's
the ginger.
Ginger.
Yeah.
Ginger.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's good. And then you can eat the cup.
Yep. It is good. It definitely is good. All right, y'all. So that was the list. Our ultimate move abroad guide. Again, all of this in some form is in our Move Abroad Toolkit. That information is in the description below. And now we will take questions. And remind me, sweetheart, about your money question. I will go back and answer that. When you are applying for the visa now, they are saying you have to have 3 times the Portuguese minimum wage in your bank account at once. Was that your experience? No.
Mm-mm.
No. In our American bank account, we needed to show 1.5 times. So 1 plus a half or 1 plus a half. Not 3 times. And it depends on which visa you're going for. Is it a D8 visa or is it a D7 visa? And then in our Portuguese bank account, we only needed 3 months living expenses, both for the CEF appointment and for the visa appointment. So Rosalind, if that is indeed what they're saying, and y'all, here's the thing. What they are requiring in California is not necessarily what they're requiring in New York, is not necessarily what they're requiring in Boston or Washington, D.C. Yeah. So, and the same is true for Mexico. What they required in Denver was different than what they were requiring in Miami-Dade, than what they were requiring in Louisiana. Yeah. So for whatever country you are searching for, get in those expat / immigrant Facebook groups to see, are there disparities and differences? Are the consulates somewhat subjective in what they are asking for? Because if you go on to the CEF website to see what they say the requirements are, will it say that, Rosalind? Or is that what BSF is saying? Or is that what the consulate or embassy is saying? You understand? So in my opinion, California office said, you know what, we getting too many applications. We're gonna have to put some hoops.
Weed people out, and put
We
hoops up.
Yeah. And I think, what happened during as far as Portugal is concerned, what happened during thank you, Kenneth. Thank you for the subscription. I enjoy informative and positive content. You're welcome. You mentioned before that you didn't move on a D7. No, we did move on a D7. Yeah, that's why. Yeah, we're here on a D7. And yeah, we only use public transportation and our feet. We use Uber and stuff sometimes, but we don't have a car, if that's your question. We do not have a car. We were going to get scooters, but the way these people drive,
I've been watching them, though. I've been watching.
So they're doing maintenance. Okay, this is another thing.
Oh my God.
Strikes in Portugal are a consistent thing.
Oh
of public workers is a consistent thing. If this is something that will drive you crazy, Portugal is not for you. I don't remember hearing about that with Mexico. They don't do strikes like they do in New York City, where like when the garbage men go on strike,
everything is shut down.
It's shut down. Yeah. Your stuff ain't being picked up ever. No.
Yeah, because yesterday we went to take the metro to come home, but of course they're doing maintenance, so they shorten the trains, and
there's only 3 cars.
So usually we just said we might as well just walk.
Yeah, usually there's like 6 or 7 or 8 cars to a metro train. You got a
full train,
but the green line right now, they're doing maintenance. There's only 3
going on through July.
Yeah, so by the time we get back, it will be over.
Hopefully.
But I'm telling you, people that had their faces
up against
crazy. The window.
It was crazy.
That's how many people were on that train. So we're like, we'll just walk. And then we got some gelato on the way. So that just made it even more pleasant.
So yeah, it's little things like that. It's like, damn.
Yeah, so put a Q in front of they're on strike, yeah. Oh, and then when we go down to Cascais, coming back, they're doing maintenance on the train, on the heavy rail train. And so they smash everybody. You get off and then you get into a bus. I'm not about that life. Because then you have to stand the rest of the way. Or when they were on strike, instead of running every 20 minutes, they were running every 2 hours. So that's kind of how they do strikes here. Hello, I'm interested in Lisbon, but my current job is with ports in I guess the Port Authority is what you're saying. I'm wondering if I can do that there. Haven't asked my job because they haven't been helpful with general issues. Black Widow, I would look at your employee handbook first and see what that says, so that when you go talk to HR, you have ammunition. If it says nothing if it does not address working 100% remotely, which a lot of government jobs, if this is a government job, will not allow that for safety, because of hacking and stuff like that. So thank you, Shauna. Thank you.
And you want to make sure if they do something like that, are they paying you in U.S. salary or Portuguese salary?
Yeah, well, if it's just a 100% remote job, they're going to pay you in U.S. salary. And the reason why he's asking that is because
you'll find out.
Well, yeah, that shouldn't change. When it does change is when you have a global company that has offices here. When I say here, in the EU, then you come, let's just say, you're a C-level manager, and they've got C-level managers here making the equivalent of $80,000 a year. But in the United States, you were making $150,000 a year. Now you come here making $150,000 and you're making more than 2 levels up. Then they're like, that's not really fair. So that's when it changes sometimes. But
I guess I'm not familiar with port work.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it is either. I'm assuming it's like the Port Authority, like they have in New Jersey, but I'm not positive. Or is it port wine?
No.
I know. I just want to say port wine. Watching YouTube grocery hauls, store videos in the country you're interested in is very helpful. Yes. And we actually did take some pictures of one of our hauls, and with the receipts and stuff. So we do have to do an updated version of our grocery shopping video. So yeah, thanks, Professor LCH. Rick, that's your vacation home. I guess that's going to be your vacation home in the suburbs. Now, see, like we could do that. Like if we bought a place out in the suburbs, we rented it out or Airbnb'd it out and then had it to go every so often, that would be one thing. And that's doable. But not right now. I don't know. I might feel totally different 2 years, 3 years from now. So we'll see. I never say never. Do you still have space for your meetup and our tweens welcome? So we don't have space on the boat, but we do have space at the party. And yes, tweens are welcome. We're gonna be learning to do some kazamba dancing, y'all. So get ready. Hi, Alicia and Rick. I really enjoy the informative and positive content. Oh, information about the meetup should be below. I think I left it. If not, I'll put it in the chat. Previously, you mentioned you guys moved on a D7. My apologies if you stayed in previous. Yeah, we did move on a D7 visa, not on the golden visa or anything like that. So let me see the meetup information. Oh, I just say it's in the tickets are now available. So if you go to our website, ourblackutopia.com, and then hit, if it's not in the information below, just click meetup and it will be there. Okay, because Border is saying I have to deposit $7,000 in Portuguese bank 3 months after it's open, or they will be closed, or they will. So that could be a bank thing. We have heard, if they're using Millennium, we have heard them tightening the reins on foreign bank accounts with Millennium. When we opened our Millennium account, we had less than $1,000 in there, €1,000 in there. We quickly put more money in there once we realized that they were charging us fees for anything that was under €1,000. Now let me go back because I think I missed some. Mary, I think in general we need to make that move as soon as possible because prices seldom go down. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. If you can lock stuff in, like we locked in our rent rate and stuff like that. Okay, so Mel and T say, yes, homeschooling is legal. Thank you. Isan one says, I couldn't find a mailbox when I was there. Thank you. We forgot all about this piece. How can you send and receive letters from others in the U.S.? Also, any small towns with big amenities in Portugal. When you say big amenities, it depends on what you mean. Like, do you mean public transportation or do you mean like plays, museums, and things like that, right? So yeah, a lot of the smaller towns do have public transportation, at least buses. But yeah, but they're not necessarily going to have a lot of different, big art museums and maybe plays that are going on and those cultural things.
They have mailboxes.
Oh, yeah, so let's get back to the mailbox. So the blue mailboxes that you see on the side of the street, no. As we have said before, our friend Rui, who is not in the chat right now, he'll probably watch the replay, told us that, 6 or 7 years ago or so, they elected someone who was really conservative, who decided it would be a good idea to privatize their mail system. And so a bank bought the mail system. And it's called CTT, Cat Taylor, CTT. So when you see the CTTs, it's red and white. When you see the CTTs, those are the mailboxes. They're usually little storefronts, and they've got mail slots for when they're closed that you can just put stuff in.
Or they have you can walk in the buildings.
Yeah, you can walk in the building.
Places that are always crowded.
They're always crowded, yep. You can walk in the buildings to buy stamps, to mail something, like first class or the equivalent or something like that. But also just to mail across town or whatever, you can just put it in the slot. Or if you already know how much it's going to cost and you can put the amount of postage on there, You can just put it in the slot.
Yeah.
So my goddaughter mailed a wedding invitation to us in March. We got it last week, y'all. We got it last week. The wedding is in a month. We mailed something regular mail to our attorney in Los Angeles. She got it. She got that a lot faster than we got the wedding invitation. So I think she got it within like 3 weeks. And I just mailed it regular because I figured, I just mailed it regular. So
now you can send something like
through
UPS or FedEx.
Yeah, you can do that. Like if it's something important, we sent our stuff via UPS and we sent our
or DHL.
Or DHL, yeah. Okay, what else are you guys talking about here? I was there last year. If you're gonna drive, learn roundabouts and navigating the tolls. See, I'm not about that. Just no. Okay, midlife writer says we moved to South Korea and I'm currently learning the language. Ooh, good for you. It has been challenging but amazingly fun. I've also been forcing myself to use what I learn as often as possible, and that's the thing. So unless it's something that's urgent or really has legal ramifications, I try to ask in Portuguese. So the other day I was trying to sign up for exercise classes. I didn't say fala English. I just looked at my app to make sure I was saying the words correctly and the nouns that I didn't know. And I went in there and I tried to use it. And then they started talking to me in English. And I continued to talk to them in Portuguese. I don't care. You gonna listen to me mess up your language. Please correct me. That's right. That was my, oh, you had a Portuguese lesson. Did you have a Portuguese lesson? Action VJ?
Well, you should be fluent now. How's that going?
Right? Shoot. All right. Any other questions about how to move abroad? Anything about Portugal? All right. Banks. Are there international banks like Barclays? I haven't seen them. When I lived in Italy, I did banking with Barclays and moved money with American Express. I haven't seen any international banks that would be in America as well. Have you? Not here in Portugal.
I'm trying to think. I think I did see, but I don't think it was an American bank.
But do they have branches in America?
Yeah, it was. I can't think of the.
Okay, think about it. If you remember, I don't remember seeing anything, Ange. And then, but what we do is I wire money from our American bank to our Portuguese bank, and then when I just want to get some cash out and I want to get it out of our American bank, I use one of the banks that don't charge fees and don't charge conversion rates. Well, they have conversion rate, obviously, but they don't charge for converting the money and stuff like that. So Fidelity will do that. Charles Schwab will do that. And I heard maybe Capital One or something will do that. Will reimburse you for the fees. Did you have problems with SSI with an address in Portugal? No. Do you need to have a U.S. address? I would always keep a U.S. address. We still have properties in the U.S., and so we're able to use that. We have our money going into an American bank account, and then we just transfer it when we need it. I transfer big chunks at a time when the rate is more favorable. So with stock, I don't try to time the market, but when moving money, I do try to time the market, and I don't always get it right. When you say travel health insurance, do you mean like World Nomad or Safety Wing? Yeah, but there's cheaper versions than that, but yes, that's what I mean. Yeah, Barclays. It's British. Okay. Yeah, I knew what you meant. I meant, do you need to keep an American address for your mail? Well, so Social Security is deposited directly into your bank account, right? There are services that you can use. And you might want to do that for the first year. There are services that you can use that they will scan everything, send you digital copies. I think they even have services where if there's hard copies that you need, of certain things, they will mail that to you or ship that to you, etc. We don't use them, so I don't know, but you can Google it. You can Google it. And so, or you could do a post office box. I don't know. The first thing that I would do is I would find a trusted family member and use their address. Also, you need to think about what's going to be your home state, because your home state, and this is in the Move Abroad Toolkit, right? Your home state is going to dictate your state taxes. And so if you live in New York, you don't want that to be your home state. If you live in California, you don't want that to be your home state. You just don't, because those taxes are out of control. So Texas is free. Florida is free. That's why they're crazy states. But hey, you're not living there. You just go domicile there or make that your home state. So yeah, but there are services that you can use. I love that Portugal has so many Brazilians. Yes, they're beautiful people, very beautiful people. We love the Yarbroughs too.
Oh yeah.
Did you say Professor LCH?
No. I was reading Shara.
Okay, Shara. Off topic. Where are festivals tomorrow? Having trouble figuring that out. We've been here since Wednesday and not finding out so readily. So tomorrow is the parade that is supposed to be off of Avenida Liberdade. So you should know where that is. That's the George 7 Park. That street that is off of that is Avenida Liberdade or Liberty Avenue.
That's where all the big Beverly Hills stores, I call them the Beverly Hills stores.
Yeah.
The designer stores and stuff is on that street.
Yeah, definitely. So just Google that. And then after this, I will put a link that shows where all of them are, festival link. You want me to do that?
Are they still going on tomorrow here?
Yep.
And in Grassa?
Yeah, so the one up in Pena de França is still going on tomorrow. The ones in Alfama are still going on tomorrow. You cannot miss them in Alfama.
I didn't hear any music or anything tonight. Maybe because the windows are closed.
Yeah. So the music starts about now. They go late.
And they be gone.
They go late.
It was so crowded in Grassa the other day, walking through there. Oh my God.
Yeah. This is off topic.
What? What coffee drinks you usually have?
I'm going to go back to that starred one.
Starbucks?
Yeah. So he has people bring him Starbucks French roast beans. They sell them in the grocery store and they sell them in Costco, right? So
yeah.
So far he still has one bag left.
I have one big bag left.
But when we go out, we drink espresso.
Yes, espresso and stuff like that. I just try to avoid making it here because it just doesn't taste the same as they do in the.
It's better. The espresso
in the
here
little coffee shops
better.
Is good. It's very good.
Yes. All right. So we'll answer this money question and then get back to the other stuff. So I've got $20,000 in debt, thinking of pulling my stock portfolio of approximately $150,000 to pay it off. Okay. So here's the deal. This is without knowing anything. If you are pulling money from a post-tax brokerage account, there is going to be a tax implication if there has been growth with the stocks that you're going to have to sell to pay off the debt. So factor that in. Is it worth it? $20,000 is a lot, but I don't know how fast you're trying to pay it off. If you have done, if you've got the Ready to Retire Toolkit and you've done an assessment of your spending and you've done an assessment of your income, what we have seen with the people who book calls with us is there is usually a big gap between the expenses, including credit cards, whatever they're paying on the credit cards, and what they're bringing in. And when I say a big gap, I mean a lot of times it's $2,000, $3,000, and $4,000 per month. And then, so let's just say you've got $2,000 gap between what you are bringing in and what you need to spend, not what you're spending, what you need to spend. So the four big ones: healthcare, transportation,
Food.
housing, and food, right? And then whatever debt that you have, the minimum payments, you can just go by the minimum payments. So if there is a gap of like $2,000, I would take that $2,000 and put it
towards the credit card.
And put it towards the credit card debt. I'm assuming you're talking about credit card debt or private student loan debt, and not housing or a car that can be sold. So, if you have taken a loss on what is in your brokerage account, there might not be a tax implication. And if you're trying to get out of Dodge by the end of the year, then maybe it does make sense to just get that $20,000 out of the way. And then the money that you were paying towards that debt, you will start repaying it back to your brokerage account. Or better yet, have it taken out of your check in advance and put into your pre-tax account, or at least an IRA. So that's what I would do. And y'all know that we are not licensed financial advisors. We're better. We're financial educators. Because we think you should know more about your money than any financial advisor. And think about it, y'all, because we've gotten this question several times in the comments. Can we recommend a financial advisor? The answer is no. Anybody who is in the business of finance, they are in a business that has a bottom line. The bottom line is to make money. So that means they are charging you money to make money for you. So if they make $10,000 for you, you probably could have made $15,000 on your own because you're paying fees, and they are pushing you towards product that they get the best rate on, or they get a kickback on. So, buyer beware. No one should know more about your money than you know about your money. And investing in the stock market is really not rocket science. Are the contact info specialists that you need listed in your toolkit? Yes, and below in the description below. What documents are required to open the bank account? We did do a video on this for Portugal. Now, obviously, this varies depending upon the country. So again, get in these expat/immigrant Facebook groups and ask these questions, because we know about Portugal. We did not open a bank account in Mexico. It was not required. We didn't do it. Excuse me. But here we needed proof of our address. So we happened to have our tax returns with us. So that proved that. We had to have some bank statements so that they knew that we were moving money and not laundering money. We had to have our passports. I don't think we needed our marriage certificate.
I think we showed it to them.
Did we show it? Okay, so let's just say marriage certificate, especially if you want both people on, if you're married and you want both people on the account.
But they only put one person on it.
Yeah. Well, they put both of us on it.
They put us both on it, but it doesn't show.
But it always starts with the wife. Yay. We love Portugal. We love Portugal. And I think that's it. But we did do a video on it. It's a short video. It's not a long one like this one. So you should check that out, because we did this last year. And so we made a video right after we did it.
I think I showed them my driver's license.
Well, yeah, we had to show ID. But so we showed passports. We didn't have to show anything more than that. Are you paying U.S. and Portugal income taxes? No. We're not being double taxed. In any country that you move to that has a treaty with the United States, you will not be double taxed. So that should also be considered when you're considering where you're going to move to. Also, watch the video that we did on expat taxes, because y'all,
Yeah.
it's deep. There's a lot of stuff that you need to know. What towns, cities would you suggest for scouting? Baby.
It depends on where you want to be in the country.
It also depends on what kind of weather you want, what you like to do, etc. Right?
Some people love Porto.
Some people love Coimbra.
Yeah.
Some people love the Silver Coast. Some people love the Algarve. I'm a city girl through and through. I'm born and raised in LA. I need city. I need action. I need people. I need energy. I don't want a sleepy town. To visit, to vacation, yes. To live, no. I love going out there and seeing all those people in the streets. I love it. I love it. It gives me energy. So it just depends on what you want, babe. What you want. That's why it's so important that you have your wants and your need list. What do you need to make you happy? And what do you want as icing on the cake?
Santander Bank is.
Santander is here. I live in New Jersey and there's a Santander. Okay, there you go. I had never heard of Santander because they're not in Colorado. And I don't think that they are in, it's a Spanish bank. And I don't think that they're in California either. I had never seen it before until I came to Europe. So.
And I think there is, I don't know if it's Bank of the West, but that's a Spanish bank.
It is now? Did a Spanish bank buy them or something?
Yeah, they bought them years ago.
Okay. I love how Halisi will turn all the way around to look at Rick in his face. I need to know. I need to see. Are you going to say this with a straight face or what? All right, y'all.
Say what with a face.
Whatever it is. Whatever it is. So we've been on here for 2 hours. We're going to run over the list one more time. We're going to let you go. You guys know that let me put it in the chat again.
Action VJ, you did see a Citibank here. I just looked at it and it said Citibank.
Citibank's here? Where? Where? So you guys know we are doing a Move to Portugal virtual summit. We are partnering with Blacksit Global with Krishan, who has been in the chat. You want to get on the waiting list. And that information I just posted in the chat is also in the description below. It is going to be the first weekend in November. We have already secured, some attorneys, real estate people, immigration people, tax people, etc. We're also going to have people who have lived here for a while that you can ask questions to, especially if you're going to get the all access pass. We'll have some private Zooms where you can ask questions on what it's really like. So if Portugal is on your list, you do not want to miss this summit. Information is in the chat and in the description below. So Auntie Trey said Citibank. Okay, I have not seen a Citibank here.
I haven't seen it, but I was looking at it, looking up, seeing if there was American banks, and it says Citibank.
Okay. All right. Well, it's somewhere. It's somewhere up in here. So again, the Move Abroad Toolkit, if you want to get that information is in the description below. We don't have a live this Thursday, but we probably will be going live on Instagram tomorrow during the parade. So we will see you then. Yep. So let's just go over it one more time. Number 1, start getting rid of stuff. Number 2,
analyze your finances.
Number 3, research and choose your destination. Number 4,
create a budget.
Number 5, scout your chosen destinations. Number 6,
revise budget based upon real life data.
Number 7, choose a country. Number 8.
Why'd you say it like that?
Because you got to make a choice. You can research and research and research, but you finally got to make a choice.
Number 8, put together paperwork and other requirements.
Number 9, find accommodations. Number 10,
apply for your visa.
Number 11, notify all them people that need to know. Number 12,
pack your belongings and get them ready to ship.
Number 13, handle odds and ends, like make sure your will, what you're going to do with your mail, your estate planning, all of that stuff is in order. And then number 14,
community and culture.
Yes, get ready to embrace and do as much research as you can. And with that, we are going to let y'all go. We love you, and we will see you next week. I think next week, if I don't know, I know we've got Cinnamon, who has been living here since the pandemic, is coming on the 20th, but I think that's 2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
So we might have a surprise for you next week. See ya.